Belinda and HarperAudio Australia present this unabridged recording of The Masterpiece, written by Belinda Alexandra and read by Annabelle Tudor. For Lily. Prologue. Eve, Nice, June 1946. I arrived at the Villa des Cygnes, at what they call on the Côte d'Azur, the magical hour. That time of the evening when the sun sinks over the Baie des Anges, the sky turns pink and gold, and the sea darkens to a deep shade of purple. From the height of Montbaron, I could take in the sweeping expanse of the Mediterranean, the picturesque harbour and terracotta rooftops of Nice. But one doesn't stop to admire the view when one's father's life is at stake. What I did notice as my fingers gripped the locked iron gates to the garden was the dilapidated condition of what must have once been a grand house, a Neo-Pompeian-style summer residence. The pink stucco was crumbling in places, and the rococo balustrading that surrounded the rooftop terrace looked as if it might disintegrate and come crashing to the ground at any minute. My gaze travelled to the statues of Greek gods and goddesses that stood on either side of the overgrown path. Under the circumstances, their blank stares were unnerving, as was the Medusa mascaron situated above the villa's entrance door. My heart beat fast against my ribcage, and my hand trembled as I pressed the buzzer near the gate. No sound emitted from it, and I wondered if it could only be heard inside the house. I looked desperately around for any sign of life. I had no evidence, only a hunch, that Christina Belova might have returned to the villa. But what would I do if she wasn't here? My mind flashed to my father, held in a lice-infested cell in Fresnes prison, chains around his wrists and ankles. When there was no response to my second press of the buzzer, I stepped back and considered how I might hoist myself over the gates. Before I had to think too much further, the front door opened, and the stooped figure of a man appeared. His black butler's uniform hung off his skeletal frame, and his face was so pale it was almost ghoulish in the fading daylight. I shivered slightly when he shuffled down the path towards me, but as soon as he drew close, I could see that he was no apparition. He was simply ancient, at least 90 years of age. "Can I help you, mademoiselle?" he asked, in the breathless voice of a man of failing health. "I am Eve Archer. I'm here to see Madame Bergeret," I said, using Christina Belova's married name. The butler looked taken aback. "Has she invited you?" "I sent a telegram and didn't receive a reply. I've come all the way from Paris." He touched his breast pocket, but then seemed to think better of it. "Madame Bergeret doesn't wish to see anybody." The way his gaze shifted, I sensed that what he said was only a half-truth. I thought of the painting that had turned up at the Hôtel Drouot auction. Christina was working again, and someone had put her artwork on the market. So why would she not wish to see anyone? I was prepared to talk to her through a crack in the door if she preferred, but talk to her I must. "Please, I must see her. It's about Serge Lavertu. He's in grave danger." My father's name seemed to startle the butler like an electric shock. "Serge Lavertu? He's alive?" Something wasn't right. Did this man not read the newspapers? If he had, he would have known my father was indeed alive, but not for much longer if the Ministry of Justice had its way. It was either going to be the guillotine for a double murder or the firing squad for a war crime. Unless I could persuade Christina Belova to come to Paris to testify on his behalf, my father was doomed. "Yes, he is alive," I said. "Please, I need to speak to Madame Bergeret tonight."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?